Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, to the outside world, she was the peak of fitness, and then her body began to break down. Her incredible journey just ahead.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
Well, when you meet somebody like my next guest, you're going to say to yourself, okay, she's born with a silver spoon in her mouth. She's never had adversity in her life, and she has everything going for her. But a couple years ago, her health began to break down. Amanda Soukoulis is in the studio. She has now turned that pain into purpose. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
It's an honor to be here. Thank you so much for having me on your show.
Well, I've had a chance to look through a lot of your material, and to the outside world, you had it all, didn't you?
Yes, that's what it appeared to be, right? I was living the dream. I was working a dream job in private equity. I was a finalist for the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders, and 2 months later, my health just collapsed overnight.
Okay, describe that, because you had to be wondering, I mean, I'm in such great shape. Why is my body failing me?
Yeah, so finals, great experience. I loved my experience with the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. 2 months later, all of a sudden my energy tanked out of nowhere, right? I'm in my 20s thinking, what's going on? I shouldn't be having low energy. I'm too young to be experiencing that. Yeah. All of a sudden, then my brain fog set in. So I was working in private equity at the time, and I went from having 8 to 9 hours of productivity to hardly 2. Wow. And as a high-performing person, if you don't have your brain, you don't have anything, yes. Right? And so for me, it felt like, am I getting early onset Alzheimer's or dementia this young? What's going on? And slowly but surely, then all of a sudden I was waking up in the middle of the night. I'm like, I'm way too early to be going through menopause. Why am I waking up at 2 to 3 a.m. every single night? Wow. So the first metric, though, that I noticed even before my energy had tanked was my heart rate variability had dropped. And so this is a metric that tells you how balanced and ready your nervous system is, how ready you are to take on the day. And I closely track everything. I love data. Closely track everything on my Whoop, which is this band right here. And my HRV had gone from 90 down to 60. That was like a leading indicator. I think back to econ classes, right? Yeah. So sometimes there's leading, sometimes there's lagging indicators. That was the first leading indicator. Then my energy dropped. Then the brain fog set in. Next thing I know, 35 pounds had piled on top of my body. So I went from having a six-pack to a lot of weight on a body that doesn't hold 35 more pounds very well. And the biggest problem area was actually right below my belly. My gut was distended by 4 inches. I'm like, there is something wrong with my gut.
Wow.
So I went from doctor to doctor to doctor. I was just dismissed over and over again. And what I found was that they weren't looking for the right thing. And I said, okay, well, I'm way too young to not have energy. It put all of my dreams on halt. Until I was healthy again, I wouldn't be able to go back and pursue the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. I wouldn't be able to keep rising through the ranks in private equity. And I said, there has got to be a solution. And so that's when I found the worlds of functional medicine and figured out exactly what was going on within my body. And we found out that there was a bacterial pathogen in my gut, and then that there was black molds within my body.
Okay, we're going to hear much more from her in a second. She's a very popular keynote speaker. Let's go ahead and roll her reel.
Back to Christmas Day when my whole body was covered in hives. Yeah, there was something really wrong. And that was my body saying, hey, we need to heal.
God spoke to me in a moment and said, it had to be you, Amanda. You had to be a guidepost for other women. And from that, it's birthed what is now my functional medicine and nutrition practice, where I help peak performers uncover what those chronic health symptoms are so that they can get back to doing what they love.
I don't think it's too late. I think that there's always something that we can do. And sometimes just the smallest, simplest changes can make the biggest difference. I flipped the script from why me to it had to be me.
My impossible dream is to help 10 million Americans reverse their chronic disease so that they can become the CEO of their health.
Optimal living and optimized health comes when you're living in full alignment with who you are and who you're supposed to be and who you're called to be.
Optimize your health, which then allows you to optimize your life. Enough was enough. If change is going to happen, it's going to be up to me. I had to become the CEO of my health.
I don't think it's possible to be in a state of disease, to be sick, if you're fully walking and living in your purpose. We live in a very sick country. It's important to get the truth out there and that healing is possible. Maybe you don't have the hope or you don't have the confidence or belief that you might be able to heal. Just borrow some from me.
The thief comes to steal, kill, and destroy, but I've come to give you life to the full, and I believe everyone is meant to live a full, abundant life.
I'm so grateful for getting to work with Amanda, and I am the healthiest I feel like I've ever been. I have more energy than I thought I could ever have in this season of my life.
I've been working with Amanda for about 3 months now. Completely changed my eating habits, focusing more on whole foods.
Amanda has truly been a lifeline to figuring out what works for me, what works for my body, and how to optimize my own health. And I truly just could not be more grateful for the types of support that she has provided me every step of the way.
That's why I think data is powerful. Whenever someone tells me, oh, I don't want to know what's going on inside my body, well, I said, well, like, you either figure out what's going on inside your body right now, you invest in your health right now, or you're going to pay for it when you're sitting in a hospital bed. Don't waste the pretty. What kind of life do I want to live? Where do I see myself 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now? And I actually have a note on my phone that I read to myself every single morning about who I am mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally, and the kind of partner that I want in my life. What we resist persists. You can only perform to the level that you are recovered.
You're such a powerful speaker. What occurred to me is traditional doctors couldn't find it. And you shopped around. I mean, I'm sure you saw a bunch of different specialists. Why were they not looking in the right place?
Yeah. So in Western medicine, which there's a need for, if I break my arm, I need to go straight to the hospital, right? Yeah. But doctors are paid to specialize in a specific system of the body. But really what I learned through functional medicine is our body is interconnected. So our gut talks to our brain, talks to our detoxification systems. And if they're not all working cohesively together, it's gonna sound like a really off symphony or orchestra, right? And so we need to get all the musical instruments playing appropriately. And so how I figured out what doctors were missing was that we had to do more testing. The average doctor only is going to look at your CBC and your CMP, right? So your complete blood count and your comprehensive metabolic panel. It's going to give you a little bit of insight into electrolytes and into your blood count. But oftentimes we look at that data and I say, okay, well, there's something deeper. And that's what functional medicine does, is we're looking at what's actually the root cause here. So through that testing, we looked at my gut microbiome, we looked at my toxin load, we looked at which micronutrients my body was missing. And we identified, okay, there's a bacterial pathogen, there's black mold, your thyroid's a little bit sluggish, your adrenals are shot. So what is the right order that we need to do to actually heal your body?
But you almost had to become a medical detective to discover your own illness. I mean, isn't that the job of the doctor, is to get to the root of the problem?
Yeah, and unfortunately, I was really dismissed over and over again because I still looked healthy. But I knew that my health is different than 95% of the population, right? You go to a doctor, they're looking through a normal lens. Normal falls into 95% of the population if you're looking at the standard deviation curve on any kind of lab work.
Yes.
I don't know about you, but I don't want to be normal. I want to be optimal. I want my body to be running at the speed in which my motivation, my desires, all of the goals and the dreams that I have that have been set on my heart. And when my health plummeted, I couldn't do that.
Wow, so profound. We're going to pull up her website, and as we scroll on the website, tell us about the audiences that you like to speak to.
I love working with high performers, those that are running the business, that are running their home, that are really exceeding and excelling in every single area of life,
Yes.
but feel like there's something not right internally and I can't figure it out. Maybe the weight just won't budge. Maybe their memory is not as sharp as it used to be, and so it's slowing them down at work.
Yes.
Maybe they just don't feel right. Their energy's low, they're waking up at 2 a.m. It's those people that are really ambitious, that have maybe tried a lot of different things, a lot of different diets, maybe some different programs, but they can't get to the bottom of it, and they haven't gotten the right data, the right biomarkers internally.
Tell me how people can engage you. Obviously, they can hire you to be a keynote speaker. Do you do one-on-one coaching? Do you coach teams? Tell us about how people can hire you.
Yeah, I do work with a select handful of one-on-one, very tailored clientele.
Yes.
I only will work with so many people at once because I really want my clients to experience the breakthrough that they've been looking for.
Yes.
I love to do corporate speaking events, especially given that I started my career working at Deloitte, which is the largest professional service firm, moved into private equity. I did lead a big piece of corporate wellness when I was at Deloitte, which was incredible. So I love being able to bring that into teams, help teams figure out how to integrate better work-life integration. I don't believe in work-life balance. I believe in work-life harmony. How do we integrate everything so that it works cohesively together to really lift everyone up? And the best way to find me would be, you can go to my Instagram and send me the keyword Crilley, so I know where we found you. I actually have a special little gift for the listeners, because I know that your audience is so devoted, and these are people that are out there doing big things, right? And so I have a peptide playbook, right, that dives into some of the, hey, what are the root causes that we might need to identify, and then being able to actually walk people through their custom blueprint. So this is usually something that I would do the very first call with my clients, but because your guests, the people that are listening to this, your viewers, I just feel called to share.
Well, that's so generous. Let's spend a minute talking about peptides, because that's the big buzzword. Everybody's talking about peptides, but not all peptides are created equally. You could probably buy some stuff that is not going to help you. So what's your view on peptides and how to get the good stuff?
Sure. So peptides amplify the environment they enter into, right? And so what my body needs is going to be different than what your body needs.
Yes.
And this is why I always take a test, don't guess approach when it comes to peptides. Peptides are just chains of amino acids, or the building blocks to protein. And a lot of them are natural, which when they enter our body, they're going to go do one specific job.
Yes.
So you take a peptide called epithalin, for example. It actually targets your pineal gland, which is in charge of your circadian rhythm. So this peptide, it's known to extend your DNA, but really what it's going to do is reset your circadian rhythm and help your body get into deeper, more restorative sleep. Wow. So that's one peptide. There's about 15 different peptides that I've personally done, and it's something that I integrate. And I don't look at peptides from a, hey, how can we lose weight with peptides? That's not it. For me, it's their healing modalities. And the best way to integrate them is after doing some of that initial testing to see what's going on within your body.
Yes.
Why are you tired? Why can't you build muscle and lose fat the way that you want to? And so the best way to do it is alongside someone that has been there, that's walked down that road, whether that's me, whether that's someone else. I wouldn't just experiment with peptides blindly.
What's it like when you have a breakthrough with a client for you?
Oh, I get emotional. I honestly, there's often times where I tear up, and it's because I know what it's like to hit wall after wall after wall. It can feel like you're running on this health hamster wheel. And oftentimes the person might feel dismissed, or that they haven't been able. I had a client that was like, I can't get below 250 pounds. And she'd been trying to lose weight for over 2 decades. Wow. We got testing done. We identified that it was a pathogen that was in her gut, and that she also had mold.
Wow.
We got rid of both of those things. She's now quickly trending down. She's well below the 250 mark now. And
wow. Congratulations.
Thank you. I mean, it's, I think God's just placed this and places the right people right in front of me so that I'm able to help those people get back to living the life that they want, so that they're not in survival mode, that they can thrive, that then they can go step into starting that business or being able to be more present with their families or taking that vacation, putting on that bathing suit with confidence. Those are the wins that make what I do so unique and so special.
Amanda, amazing. We have about a minute left, so look into the camera on the left. That's the viewer, and talk to that person who needs to bring you in.
I know what it's like to be a prisoner trapped in your own body, right? I woke up on Christmas Day. My body was covered in hives. I was 35 pounds heavier, and I was like, what is going on? And it wasn't until I identified what the root cause was with functional medicine testing, where we're looking at your gut, your hormones, your toxin load. And so whether that's with me or someone else, go find those steps to get that testing done to see what's going on. You know, we lead so many areas of our life with data, with systems, with structure. Why don't we lead our own body that way? So let's have a conversation. If you're struggling with your health, you feel like you're winning everywhere, but feel like a prisoner trapped in your own body, message me on Instagram with the keyword Crilley. I love it. Or you can also find me on my website, AmandaSoukoulis.com. That's Amanda, SOUKOULIS.com. My Instagram is Amanda Souks, SOUKS. You could pretty much find me on any and all social media that way.
Outstanding. We're going to end with her website, again, AmandaSoukoulis.com. Amanda, thank you for sharing your heart and your wisdom.
Thank you so much for having me.
You bet. That's it for now. See you next time.